The Chambers of Xeric challenge mode is some of the most difficult content in the game. Many people, including myself, have done them for years without actually being able to complete the collection log. It's arguably the most brutal grind in the entire game. I'm on a mission to complete it once and for all. The thing is, it doesn't fill me with much hope when even the rank 2 CMer in the world hasn't landed the twisted bow yet. Before I dive into the challenge modes, I will mention a few methods that you can use for the regular version to increase your chances of a purple. If you are doing solo, regulars, or even duos, then the Xeric crossbow is actually better than the twisted bow, as the bow's damage is scaled off how many people are in the raid. Another useful method is the Guardian stall. Essentially, all you have to do is keep clicking the door while there is one active Guardian, and for some reason, it will keep giving you points, and this can go all the way up to 65k. You can also bring an alt or a friend who can cook fish for you and give even more points, but this caps at around 8k. It's still worth doing if you want to increase your chances. However, I'd argue that it's probably better just to do like the raid normally, because you'd be able to do two in the same time. The reason I consider challenge modes to be so hard is because there's no room for error. Everything in the raid is much stronger than like the regular version, and you're racing against the clock. To make time in order to be eligible for the metamorphic dust and an increased chance of a purple in general, you kinda need to be getting the time. On top of that, you can't really take a break as the clock is always ticking. Not only that, but the chance that you get a purple and then that it's in your name is ridiculously low. You are basically competing with like many other people who all have the same gear as you, and yet only like one or two of them will actually receive the drop. Despite getting some very high point scores, it still doesn't guarantee that anyone will get a purple. When I finally did see that twisted bow, I was prepared for the worst. I knew it probably wouldn't be in my name. I can imagine the mental toll it must take on people grinding this for years, only to see another person get the drop instead of you. Of course, my purple would be an arcane, but at least I've completed the ancestral kits. A few days went by and the purples were flying in, left and right. Not for me, of course, but it was still nice to see others get one. Each new purple message that appeared in my chat box gave me the slightest hope that maybe one day I would get something good too. If all I could do was keep trying, then it's all I could do. A few more days went by and it was the same thing. The purples kept coming and I was eagerly anticipating when mine would come too. I figured by now Jagex were testing my durability to see if I would break and would reward me for my efforts if I kept on going. I tried everything I could, even doing a few solos to minimize the chance of someone sniping my drop. Then I tried duos with a friend, but it was the same thing over and over and over again. Time I got another twisted kid. At this point now I was feeling frustrated, as I had already completed the set and had no further use for the kits anymore. I was beginning to realise that regardless of how many raids I did, the outcome was always going to be the same. I had the same chance of getting the drop whether I was 1kc or a million. Each new raid was a new chance. That's what I told myself in order to stay optimistic. Another arcane, nice.